Mobile service area. Please try again. I repeat, please try again.
Damn. All right, you all right? Get onto that builder?
Mobile's still switched off. I did catch his wife at home, left a very terse message.
That'll do a lot of good.
Yeah, what do you want me to do, PJ? Go out, track him down and bring him back in handcuffs?
Might be the only way to get him to finish the job.
How the hell did Frank Marple land the job in the first place?
Well, we greased a few palms in the Department of Planning and Development. Who knows?
Get out of it. For a few minor renovations to the local cop shop.
Maybe he thinks it'll lead to bigger things.
Not when they see my report, it won't.
Boss, brawl at Tony Dixon's place. It's getting nastier by the minute.
Oh, you don't suppose Fred and Dennis are back in town, do you?
That thought did cross my mind, yeah.
All right. PJ, Nick, Wayne, off you go.
Who are Fred and Dennis?
Come on, fellas, right?
Come on, guys, don't start. Those marbles do.
Gotta make sure that thing's turned on, Frank. The boss has been trying to get in contact with you all day.
It's not turned off, is it, mate?
Visitors. All right, Eddie. You and Lewis take a pew here. Nick, bring Fred and Dennis through to the interview room. Frank, you and Lily come with me.
Ladies before gentlemen.
Girls before swine, I'd say.
Didn't anyone ever tell you, Abbos, it's rude to stare?
Didn't anyone ever tell you it's rude to call us abos?
Oi! Go on. Adam?
Racial discrimination.
No, it isn't, mate. It's called protecting you from yourselves. Keep an eye on them, will you?
6 months it's been. You were supposed to finish this job at the end of September. And then you've got the hide to come at me today for the stage 3 lockup payment.
Now, wait a minute, Mrs. Dixon. Lockup doesn't mean the windows and the doors have got to be in.
Don't you give me that Frank Marple. I've had it up to here with your excuses and you're whining for more money. You're a bloody rip-off merchant.
I want her charged, and those Jobbo nephews of hers.
I've got a good mind to charge the lot of you.
Oh, knock it off. They started it.
Look, Frank, I don't give it...
Boss, Tony Dixon's here.
Right. I don't care who started it, Frank. You were in their boots and all, from what I've heard. You're in it up to your necks, all of you. Wayne, go and keep an eye on those two, will you? Tony, thanks for coming. G'day, young Casey. How are you?
Good, Sergeant Croydon.
Good. Well, you got my message, obviously.
Yeah, I didn't even realise Fred and Dennis were in town.
Only arrived back this morning, I gather.
Didn't take them long to start causing trouble. You'll be charging them, I suppose.
Well, I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I'd rather try and resolve this without charging anybody if I can.
You mean without charging any white blokes?
Oh, come on, Tony, you know me better than that. Look, it's a building dispute, mate. Civil matter, really. Besides, if I charge Frank, you'll never get those renovations done. And neither will I.
Sorry it had to come to this, Frank.
He's the one that should be apologising. Thought we were just a bunch of ignorant curries, didn't you? Thought you could treat us like dirt.
Lily, I think perhaps you should wait outside.
Go on, Mum, I'll take care of this.
You and that great bunch of abos.
We've got reason to be, Frank.
Yeah. Well, I've had about enough aggro on this job of yours. You can find yourself another builder.
At this stage, that'll mean more delays.
That's your headache.
Could be a big headache for you too, Frank.
What do you mean?
Breach of contract. Tony would be well within his rights to contact the housing authorities.
Hey, Copper, where's the Jilliwa?
The what?
The dunny.
Oh, you'll have to wait, mate.
Can't wait half a dozen tinnies and a bumpy ride in the back of a divvy wagon. It's urgent, man.
What's wrong, cop? Blackfella's got bladders too, you know.
Who wants to go to the toilet?
Yeah, that'll be right. Get your feet off the table. No, that's right.
I've met your cousin. Me and Constable Doyle did a talk out at the school. He's a good teacher.
Gets up a lot of people's noses, him being Curry and all.
Well, that shouldn't matter.
You are new in town, aren't you?
So, Tony Dixon, he's a friend of yours?
Let's just say I'm sympathetic to the situation. My own experience with builders lately hasn't left me anything to cheer about.
Look, I know I was going to finish the job last week, but what with one thing and the other? I'll be around first thing in the morning. You got my word.
So where does that leave Tony?
What?
Well, that's exactly what you told him not 2 minutes ago.
I'll organise something.
Yeah, well, you better. And do me a favour, just in case I need to get in touch with you, leave your mobile turned on, will you? There you go. Now, what are we going to do about these cousins of yours?
Well, did you check them out?
Yeah, we did. They're not wanted for anything.
They must be.
We double-checked it. No outstanding warrants, no stolen cars. There's not even an unpaid parking fine between the pair of them anywhere in the state.
So I'm stuck with them.
Well, you could try chucking them out yourself.
They're family. Besides, Case has been pretty lonely since his mother died, and he really likes Fred and Dennis.
You must be the only one.
Oh, they're okay. They're good blokes. Somewhere underneath.
One more.
You said they weren't going to be charged.
They haven't been charged. We're just putting them somewhere safe to sleep it off.
Look, this is harassment. You let the Marples go.
The Marples weren't drunk.
Sergeant Croydon's locked them up before. They live to tell the tale.
Oh, and that's supposed to be some sort of guarantee, is it?
Oh, Lily, haven't you done enough stirring for one day?
Okay, lads, I'll have your belts too, thank you.
What, we got you worried, bud?
I tell you what, you guys are all right. What have you had too, thanks, Tix?
I'll see if I can get you guys some coffee.
Get us some smokes.
Sorry, mate, this is a non-smoking area.
Hey, Copper.
The guy spat on me. What was I supposed to do? Turn the other cheek?
That's exactly what you were supposed to do.
Why? Because he's black?
No, that's not the issue. He was drunk and he was not responsible.
Everything all right? Everything's fine. But I'm telling you, it won't be, champ. Not if you pull a stunt like that again.
Come on, let's get some lunch.
Go watch. Excuse me?
Yeah?
Did I just see you take something without paying for it?
Me? No way.
Open your bag.
What?
You heard me.
What's going on?
Shoplifting. She won't open her bag.
Well, maybe she'd like to come down to the station. You're making a big mistake. Told you.
Nice shout, mate. Just to show there are no hard feelings.
No thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Tony.
So what do you want?
It's about the next stage payment. The one the family got so rolled up about today.
Yeah, what about it?
Well, the thing is, I underquoted on the job. Now I'll wear it. But I need some upfront cash, otherwise I can't guarantee there'll be no more delays.
No more money, Frank. Not till I start seeing some results. And if you muck me around anymore, I'll be taking Sergeant Croydon's advice and making an official complaint to the housing authorities. So no more standover tactics, no more delays, or suffer the consequences.
Okay, you two.
Hey, Frank, buy you a drink.
Thought the cops had you two safe under lock and key.
Only till we sobered up, cuss.
And they won't be for long.
2 beers, thanks.
I don't want any trouble from you two or you'll be straight out.
No trouble from us.
Yeah, well, there better not be.
Mags, I still reckon she pinched something.
Here we go again.
Adam, just give it a rest, will you?
Well, I mean, the way she was acting, she must have been guilty of something. I reckon she stashed it somewhere.
I'm sorry, Adam, but I just don't believe in magic. Mount Thomas Police. Yes, Chris. Okay, we're on our way. Bye. 112, brawl in progress in rear of Hotel Mount Thomas. Will require urgent assistance.
Take it out! Get an ambulance!
The ambo said it was lucky it wasn't the jugular. He's in surgery now.
Which means we won't be able to talk to him for a while.
You said Fred and Dennis were involved. I don't see them anywhere.
They bailed out when we arrived.
Well, that's in character at least. Indictable assault certainly isn't.
Well, everyone's talking and they're all saying the same thing. It's Tony.
Where's he?
He's in there.
I'd appreciate it if you could get him out of there. The lynch mob's working up our head of steam.
All right. I'll circulate a description of Dennis and Fred as soon as I get back to the station. Cooper, you come with me. The rest of you assist PJ with these interviews.
Aren't you going to charge me?
That depends on what you've got to tell us.
The rules change when something like this happens, don't they? I may be a fine, upstanding member of the community, but you scratch the surface and I'm still a dirty savage. Everybody knows a dirty savage wouldn't think twice about slitting a man's throat, would he?
Look, mate, I can sit here all night sympathising with you about the lousy deal your people get from us whites, but right now I'm more interested in who stuck a 6-inch piece of broken glass into Frank Marple's neck.
All right, thanks very much, Muddy. We'll be getting back to you.
All right. Name, sir?
Taylor. Jim Taylor.
All right, Mr. Taylor, get an address.
RMB 201 Old Widgery Road.
Right here. Did you see anything that might be able to help us with our inquiries concerning the attack on Frank Marple tonight?
Well, I know who did it.
And what, you saw the assault, did you?
No, but it was the Abo.
Right, which one?
Hey?
Well, you see, there were 3 Aboriginal men involved.
Yeah, but they all look the same, these darkies, don't they?
Yeah, rightio. Thanks very much for your help, Mr. Taylor. Gonna be a long night.
Yeah.
I thought better of Tony Dixon, you know. Taught my Jason at school. He always seems so quiet and polite. Then again, his family's not much chop.
Let's get back to what happened tonight, Mrs. Bloy.
I told you what happened.
You say when Dennis and Fred Thompson left the hotel, they were followed out by Frank and Lewis Marple and a few of their mates. Is that right?
Yes.
You heard a lot of yelling and swearing, then Tony Dixon ran out with an Eddie Johnson.
That's right.
And you rushed out too.
Oh, I wasn't the only one. You couldn't turn sideways. There were so many people out there all having a good perv, pushing and shoving for elbow space.
Who was involved?
Let's see, there was Frank and Lewis and a few of his mates and the blackfellas, of course.
Ah, how many blackfellas, Mrs. Bloy?
All 3 of them.
Are you sure Tony wasn't just trying to break it up?
Look, he was in it. I'd have known it whether I'd gone outside or not.
How, Mrs. Bloy? ESP?
He had it in for Frank, standing at the bar arguing they were. The look on Tony's face, he was ready to do Frank a mischief.
And you saw Tony doing Frank a mischief, did you? With this?
Well, no, it was dark and I told you.
And there was a lot of pushing and shoving and yeah, okay. Thanks, Mrs. Bloy, that's all we need.
Were Fred and Dennis drinking?
Of course they were drinking.
Were they drunk?
They were well on their way.
Where were they going?
To catch a train. I took her advice. I told them I wanted them to leave. I gave them the money. Enough for 2 one-way tickets to Melbourne.
Right, so Frank and his company followed them outside.
I heard the racket, so I rushed out. Lewis was holding Dennis down and Frank was about to grind his boot into the side of his face. I didn't even see Fred. Eddie came out with me to try and break it up, but I just saw red. I just got stuck in.
Looks like he managed to land a few himself.
Yeah, he got pretty serious. Well, that was about when someone grabbed me from behind. Lewis, I think. Then they all got stuck into me. I fell, and a couple of seconds later, Frank was lying next to me, bleeding like a stuck pig.
So you didn't see who did it?
No.
So it could have been Fred or Dennis?
No.
Why did they run away? What's the word on Frank?
He's recovering from surgery. He's in a stable condition. He's just sleeping off the anaesthetic at the moment.
Mr. Doyle will type up your statement. Bring Eddie through, eh? What's Tony's story?
He says he didn't do it.
He's afraid of that.
It's his word against theirs.
His word against every witness we've interviewed so far.
Is this going to take much longer? I've got a 5 a.m. start.
Couple of minutes. Not that anybody actually saw Tony go for Frank with that piece of glass, but that's what they want to believe. Bad case of when in doubt, blame the black man. How long have you subcontracted to Frank, Eddie?
Since I qualified as an electrician.
No. Oh, you two go back a fair way.
They've been best mates all our lives.
Is that how you got mixed up in tonight's little showdown?
I was trying to keep out of it.
Fair enough. How'd you get the black eye?
Would you believe? Frank, he had jobbed me with his elbow when I was trying to pull him off one of the Aboriginal blokes.
So, you didn't approve of the fight?
Well, I told Frank he was asking for trouble.
Why is that?
Look, I don't want to come across as an abo basher. Live and let live, that's my motto. But they'd still be settling their differences with spears if it wasn't for us.
And Frank's behaviour was, of course, extremely civilised.
Well, they were the ones who stuck a broken glass into his neck.
Who, Eddie?
I told you, either Fred or Dennis.
And you're sure of this?
It was definitely one of them.
Definitely Tony Dixon.
Are you sure it was Tony?
Yes.
You didn't mistake him for one of his cousins?
Yeah, how could I do that?
It was dark, there was a lot of pushing and shoving. You just saw a hand reaching for a piece of glass.
I saw a hand, sure, and it was attached to Tony Dixon.
Eddie's hazy on the details, but he thinks it was either Fred or Dennis.
Oh, starting to look that way.
Not according to Lewis.
Oh, look, it's like you said before. You need a scapegoat, so blame the black man. Look, Lewis might really believe that he saw Tony go for Frank, but look what we got here. On the one side, 3 racist yobbos, and on the other side, 3 blacks with motives. The 2 who are known troublemakers are shot through, and the 3rd is a respected schoolteacher who, to my knowledge, has never been in any trouble at all, let alone violent, and he reckons he didn't do it.
Let's see if I can trip up Eddie or Lewis in the next interviews. Listen, you do me a favour?
What?
Go over Chris's statement. I think she's holding out on us.
Why?
Beats me.
I've already told Wayne and PJ everything I know.
PJ doesn't think so. Look, Chris, a man's been seriously injured tonight. Another man is wearing the blame. A man that you and I both think very highly of.
Yeah, and that's my big problem.
He says he didn't do it. And despite what the bigots believe, there is nothing to prove that he did.
Except motive.
Are you saying that Tony had one?
From what I overheard when he was talking to Frank, yeah, I am.
Well, if it comes to that, I had motive too. Did you see who attacked Frank?
No.
Chris, if you did see anything, you have to tell us.
I didn't see who attacked Frank.
Hey, boss. The hospital rang. You can go see Frank when you want to.
Good. So what now?
You go home and get some sleep.
No, I mean, what will you do?
Visit Frank, see what he's got to say.
I already know what he'll have to say.
By rights, we should have charged him.
I would like a lot more to go on.
Yeah, it was my idea to meet Dixon for a drink. Thought we might iron a few things out.
What went wrong?
What did he tell you?
That you wanted more money.
It's a fair enough request.
Not the way Tony tells it.
Covering his hide. I could see it was a waste of time trying to see reason with him. And that would have been the end of it if it hadn't been for those bludgers, Fred and Dennis, turning up and carrying on like the way they did. Just my idea of evening the score.
You'd hardly call it even, wouldn't you? You, Lewis, a couple of mates against 2.
It was clean enough until Dixon stuck his oar in.
What happened then?
Did this?
You sure it was Tony?
Don't take my word for it. There must have been a dozen witnesses there. They all saw it.
Well, as a matter of fact, only 2 people actually saw the assault. Your boy Lewis and Eddie Johnson.
How many witnesses do you need?
Well, you'd hardly call them independent.
Is that county court?
Counts with us.
Eddie. All right, so he's not independent, but he was against Lewis and me going those abos. Surely he told you that.
Oh, yeah, he told us.
There you go, then. And he saw who attacked me.
That's what he says.
Dixon, right?
Wrong, Frank.
G'day, Eddie.
Tom. How's Frank?
No, he's burying her.
What's up?
It's a 5 a.m. start. Some urgent job in the sticks.
About 4.5 hours late so far.
Okay, thanks. Up all night partying, were you? Yeah, not my sort of party, though. You seen her before?
Every day, just about.
Reckon she's nicking stuff?
Uh-huh. But she's too cunning for me. I've even set traps. Stuff goes missing, but it's never on her when I pull her up. Did you see that?
Sure did. Hey! Okay.
Not again.
Come on. You ought to be more careful who you hang around with, mate.
I told you. I didn't pinch it, I bought it.
Where?
At the chemist on Edward Street.
Got a receipt?
It was in the bag with the nail polish.
No bag, no receipt.
I chucked it. I wasn't sure I liked that shade, so I went into the other shop to check out their range.
Constable Cooper here says he saw you putting this into your bag.
He did. I had it out to compare the colours.
That's a load of
Constable, a word.
Keep an eye on her.
Cool. I know that girl. Kelly Andrews.
Ed Kelly, more like it.
She might be telling the truth.
She's a regular little klepto. You ask anyone down at that shopping centre. The problem's been proving it.
Have you contacted her parents?
Out of town, apparently. Widgery Field days.
They're good people. They'd be horrified.
Yeah, but boss, she's a thief. I saw her.
All right, Adam. You deal with it. But before you go off half-cocked, check out her story with the chemist on Edward Street.
Righto, boss.
Eddie Johnson's here. He wants to change his statement.
That's not what you said last night.
Well, I was confused. A good night's sleep, everything seems clearer. It was Dixon, all right. Look, maybe I don't want to make waves for Dixon. He's not a bad bloke. But I'm not real proud about the way Frank and Lewis have treated him. So pointing the finger at Fred and Dennis seemed the easiest way out.
What made you change your mind?
Lying's something I find very hard to live with.
Should be home by now.
Well, maybe he's at a staff meeting.
Well, look on the bright side, boss. Lily's not home either.
I don't know. There's something just not right about all this.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'd feel a lot happier if it was Fred or Dennis we were charging.
No, I mean, it's all too pat. It just doesn't add up.
Maybe we're too close.
What are they whispering about?
Oh, they're mates. Mates like to have secrets.
You can't keep her here forever, you know. What about her schoolwork? She's already missed her afternoon classes.
Look, the pharmacist in Edward Street doesn't remember seeing her, but his assistant might have. He's going to get her to call as soon as she gets back from the dentist. Until then, I'm not letting her out of my sight.
I want to see my son.
Sorry, he's being interviewed, Mrs. Dixon.
Well, I'll wait then.
Mount Thomas Police, Constable Joel speaking. I'm sorry he's busy at the moment. Can I take a message?
Forensic just called about the glass we had tested. No discernible prints.
Should you be telling this to your prime suspect?
No discernible prints means that the fingerprints were smudged. It doesn't let you off the hook.
Well, I'm not changing my statement, so where does that leave the police now?
You'll still be charged. It'll be up to a court to make a decision, but there's something you're going to need to discuss with a barrister, Tony. A false plea could go very heavily against you.
Meaning I should plead guilty, whether I am or not, because that's what the jury's going to believe anyway. A wonderful system, your white justice.
Oh, give me a break, Tony.
Well, what are you charging me with?
Indictable assault.
Count your blessings, mate. If that glass had severed a major artery, you'd be up for manslaughter.
And that's supposed to make me feel better, is it?
Yeah, well, thanks for calling back.
Well, can I go now?
Yeah, go on, get out of here. The girl in the chemist verified her story.
Excuse me. Can I have my nail polish back? So, coming down to the shops for some more fun or what?
Yeah, go ahead. School kids and blacks, eh? The ones who can't fight back. Well?
He's been charged. That won't be necessary.
Look, I'm not going to let you blood just throw him into the can.
He's been released on conditional bail. That he doesn't approach the witnesses or the victim.
Well, it's mighty big of you, Tom. You're not scared he's going to go and walk about, are you?
Lily, can you spare 5 minutes, please?
You're not going to close my mouth, Tom Croydon. If you want trouble, you've got it. I'm going to the media.
Are you accusing me of racism?
What, you think you're above all of that, don't you?
Lily, you know me.
Yes, I thought I did.
Then you know that I don't play favourites. You break the law, you pay the penalty.
And who invented the law? Wasn't a Corey, that's for sure. Anyway, Tony didn't do it.
If you really want to help Tony, tell me where to find Fred and Dennis.
They didn't do it either.
I'm not saying they did, but they might be able to tell us something that will help Tony. So if you know where they are...
I couldn't tell you.
I hope that's the truth, Lily. Because if you're right and Tony gets punished for something he didn't do, then you'll be as responsible as anybody else.
Look at all this junk, will you? Should have known Frank Marple would stall us as long as possible.
Well, he's gone to a lot of trouble. Nearly getting himself killed in a brawl.
Boss, it was a joke.
I was thinking about Tony. Frank using all this as a way to get him off his back.
You mean blame Tony even if it was Fred or Dennis?
Or someone else with a motive?
Yeah, but who?
I don't know.
Yeah, but why would Frank, Lewis and Eddie all lie?
Well, that's what we need to find out.
Visitor, boss.
I heard you charged Tony.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, I've remembered something from last night.
Go on.
Well, just before Frank went down, I heard someone say, you had it coming to you, Tubbsy. And while I didn't see who said it, it sounded like Tony's voice.
Chrissy, you only just remembered this?
Didn't seem important. Well, maybe I should have said something, but I didn't want to be responsible for Tony going to jail. But since you've already charged him, you must have something else to go on.
Tubbsy? Don't know anyone by name of Tubbsy.
Didn't have a nickname for Frank Marple?
I had plenty of names for him, all right, but they're a bit stronger than Tubbsy.
Okay, thanks, Tony.
What, that's it? That's all you wanted?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, you going to come out here every time you get a new clue? Wasn't charging me good enough for you. You have to question me in front of my family, in front of my son. Why don't you just leave me alone?
Yeah, well, I reckon he's innocent. Well, me and Maggie went out to the school to do that talk. You could tell all the kids looked up to him. I mean, why would he risk all that?
Adam.
He's copying it on all sides. He's got crazy relatives, a builder who hates his guts, and we're going after him as well.
Coupe, eh?
I mean, look at it. The way we hassled them, no wonder they just give up.
Tony didn't give up. He was on his way to training.
Yeah, keeping up white appearances. And for what? Look at the way we've treated him.
We have treated him no differently to the way we treat any other person in his position. Look, if you've got nothing better to do, you can make me a cup of coffee. What's the matter with you?
Oh, I think it's the Aboriginal thing. He's trying a bit too hard to be ideologically sound.
I've got someone to see you. Tony doesn't know. So don't go thinking he lied to you, Tom. He thought they'd left town. They had nowhere to go. Folks back home don't want them, so they hung around. They'd come back to the house while he was out. It's a fine way to treat your own kin, I know.
Have they told you why they ran away from the hotel last night?
They didn't do it. Look, they saw the cop car, so they ran, just like they always do. I told them that Tony was copping the blame, but they don't owe him any favours. Nor me. Not after this.
So you didn't see who attacked Frank?
No.
But you knew he'd been seriously hurt?
Yeah.
So you ran?
I knew what would happen if I hung around. Once I saw the coppers lobbed, I was out of there.
Where was Fred?
Right behind me.
Where was Tony?
Dunno. But I tell you where he would have been if he had any sense. Running right alongside me and Dennis.
Was Tony anywhere near Frank when he was attacked?
Well, yeah. He was near him. Standing right over him. But he didn't do it.
What makes you so sure?
Tone's done real well for himself. Nice white job. Married a nice white woman. Living in a nice white town. Why would he risk losing all that?
Now, you blokes know you'll have to appear in court over this matter, don't you? Relax, boys. In the witness box, not the dock. That'll make a nice change here, won't it? You got an address?
Put care of Tony's place.
Does Tony know you're already planning your next visit?
I reckon he'd be glad to have us around, Bart.
Yeah, ain't gonna have too many white friends left after this. See you later.
See ya.
What? Don't tell me they gave themselves up.
Yep. Oh, the boss wants to see you.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. See you later.
Hey, room. Well, maybe there's hope for the buggers yet, eh?
Ah, waste of time and energy.
Not much value?
Well, not for Tony, which is not going to go down terribly well with Lily, I imagine, considering I encouraged her to dob him in for that very reason. Better give her a call, I suppose.
Oh, you wanted to see me?
Hmm? Oh, yeah. How'd you get on with, Tubbsy?
Well, Frank swears it's not him, but I'll check it out with Eddie and Lewis, but...
You'll probably find them down the pub. Actually, I might come along for the ride.
Aren't you going to call Lily?
I was engaged. I'll ring her when I get back.
There you go.
Thanks.
No problem.
Excuse me, sir.
On your own today, Eddie?
Yeah, left Lewis with the boys on the job. Frank out of action, they're really pushing to make the schedule.
How is Frank? Have you seen him?
Yeah, dropped in there this morning, playing the invalid of the hilt, the cunning old bludger. Likes a little attention from a good-looking nurse, does old Tubbsy. Something I can help you with?
Quite a lot, as a matter of fact.
In a way, it's a relief. Never been much good at mind games. It's always been Frank's department. Should have run a mile when he pulled this trick out of the hat.
So, what was the threat? Did he dob you in?
Yeah. I was waiting for it. He saw me come at him. I couldn't believe my ears when he pointed the finger at Dixon. He must have been working it through. Even then, by next morning he had it down pat, even lined up Lewis to say all the right things to you blokes.
He must have had a hell of a gripe against Tony.
There was a lot riding on it. See, Dixon said he was going to go to the housing authorities and Frank would be gone if that happened. He's not the most honest builder in the business. See, getting done would be bad enough, but getting done by an abo.
And an assault charge would discredit Tony, right?
Plus, give him something else to worry about.
Yeah, that was the idea.
Frank must think a lot of you, Eddie. Forgiving you for trying to slit his throat. What made you do it?
He owed me money. A lot of money.
Subcontractors' fees?
From way back. He said the recession was biting. He threw me a bit of cash when I got a bit loud. That was it. A couple of days before the fight, I found out that he was upping my quotes on his jobs, putting the surplus cash in his pocket. I had a go at him, threatened to walk out. He just laughed at me. He said no one else would employ me at my age. He said the only reason he did was because we was old mates. Some mate!
So what happened at the hotel?
So I was stewing on it for days. Never realised how much I hated Frank till that fight started. I started barracking for the abos. It was an impulse thing. Someone dropped a glass. It broke. I picked up one of the pieces, saw me chance, didn't stop to think twice.
You had it coming, Tubbsy.
Used to call him that when we were at school. Yeah, he was a tub of lard even then. It's funny, he always says I never learned to keep me big mouth shut.
Disguise today.
Not yours. Theirs.
What have we done?
Just open your bags. I told you should be careful who you hang around with, didn't I, matey?
Oh, yes. Very nice.
Can see you're feeling better, Frank.
Fit as a mallee bull and twice as dangerous. I'll be going home tomorrow, then I'll come round and finish that little job of yours. That's a promise.
You might change your mind about that when we tell you why we're here.
Oh, I should get going, Dad.
No, stay. This concerns you, too.
Is there a problem, Sergeant Croydon?
No, not really. We've just had Eddie telling us a few stories. We'd just like to assist you in making a few changes to your statements.
Their parents are on their way.
G'day. So, while this one was giving everyone something to worry about, the other two were helping themselves.
That's the one. Me and my brother used to do the same thing. He'd create a diversion while I stole all the bickies. And while Mum was scratching her head, we'd be up in the treehouse scoffing them all down.
It takes one to know one, I guess. Good work.
You're right. Sorry about the mess, but we're having a few problems with our builders.
So Tony's in the clear, is he?
Well, we haven't got anything in writing yet, but I don't think Frank or his son in there will quibble about changing their statements. They've more or less admitted to everything.
Want to sit in?
No, I'll give Tony and Lil a ring. Fill them in on the good news. It's truth. I never rang her about Fred and Dennis. What's going on? What are you doing with these kids?
It was a scam, boss. They were all in it together.
Casey, not shoplifting.
I'm afraid so, boss. Adam caught them red-handed.
Come on, we'll get this up here and we'll come back and cut some noggins.
Yeah, bud. Girlfriend Kelly's in a fair bit of trouble, but I've had a word to Constable Cooper. As this is your first and last offence, I'm going to let you off with a caution, all right?
How many times have I told you to keep away from that Kelly? She's nothing but trouble. And shoplifting, of all things. You know better, mate.
But, Dad, they're the only ones who hang around with me.
You've got other friends.
Like who?
Look, that's over and done with now. Go and keep an eye on your uncles for me. Make sure they're not getting stuck into the booze on the sly, eh?
Smart idea getting Fred and Dennis to do the work.
Yeah, Mum's doing. Keeps them out of trouble and gives her an excuse to have them around. And I very much doubt whether Frank will be back to finish the job.
Oh, join the club. Are you still planning to lodge a complaint?
Yeah, sure am. Could be years before they process it, though. But I'm sure we'll get some sort of compensation out of Frank. What about your job?
Oh, I'll put in a full report. It's up to planning and development to decide what they want to do about it.
I'm not a bad carpenter myself. I thought about taking it up as a trade at one stage. I could give you a hand in my spare time if you like.
Bit of PR work for the police, eh? Smooth over any ill feelings.
But listen, what Cooper does in his spare time is his own business.
Look, I appreciate the offer.
I'm not trying to patronise you.
Would you have offered if I was white?
Yes.
Mobile service area. Please try again. I repeat, please try again.
All right, you're all right. Get onto that builder? Mobile's still switched off. I did catch his wife at home, left a very terse message.
That'll do a lot of good.
Yeah, what do you want me to do, PJ? Go out, track him down and bring him back in handcuffs?
Might be the only way to get him to finish the job.
How the hell did Frank Marple land the job in the first place?
Probably greased a few palms in the Department of Planning and Development. Who knows?
Get out of it. For a few minor renovations to the local cop shop.
Maybe he thinks it'll lead to bigger things.
Not when they see my report, it won't.
Boss, brawl at Tony Dixon's place. It's getting nastier by the minute.
Oh, you don't suppose Fred and Dennis are back in town, do you?
That thought did cross my mind, yeah.
All right. PJ, Nick, Wayne, off you go.
Who are Fred and Dennis?
Come on, fellas, right? Come on, guys, don't start. Those marbles do.
Gotta make sure that thing's turned on, Frank. The boss has been trying to get in contact with you all day.
It's not turned off, is it, mate?
Visitors. All right, Eddie. You and Lewis take a pew here. Nick, bring Fred and Dennis through to the interview room. Frank, you and Lily come with me.
Ladies before gentlemen.
Girls before swine, I'd say.
Didn't anyone ever tell you, Abbos, it's rude to stare?
Didn't anyone ever tell you it's rude to call us abos?
Oi! Go on. Adam?
Racial discrimination.
No, it isn't, mate. It's called protecting you from yourselves. Keep an eye on them, will you?
6 months it's been. You were supposed to finish this job at the end of September. And then you've got the hide to come at me today for the stage 3 lockup payment.
Now, wait a minute, Mrs. Dixon. Lockup doesn't mean the windows and the doors have got to be in.
Don't you give me that Frank Marple. I've had it up to here with your excuses and you're whining for more money. You're a bloody rip-off merchant.
I want her charged, and those Jobbo nephews of hers.
I've got a good mind to charge the lot of you.
Oh, knock it off. They started it.
Look, Frank, I don't give it...
Boss, Tony Dixon's here.
Right. I don't care who started it, Frank. You were in their boots and all, from what I've heard. You're in it up to your necks, all of you. Wayne, go and keep an eye on those two, will you? Tony, thanks for coming. G'day, young Casey. How are you?
Good, Sergeant Croydon.
Good. Well, you got my message, obviously.
Yeah, I didn't even realise Fred and Dennis were in town.
Only arrived back this morning, I gather.
Didn't take them long to start causing trouble. You'll be charging them, I suppose.
Well, I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I'd rather try and resolve this without charging anybody if I can.
You mean without charging any white blokes?
Oh, come on, Tony, you know me better than that. Look, it's a building dispute, mate. Civil matter, really. Besides, if I charge Frank, you'll never get those renovations done. And neither will I.
Sorry it had to come to this, Frank.
He's the one that should be apologising. Thought we were just a bunch of ignorant curries, didn't you? Thought you could treat us like dirt.
Lily, I think perhaps you should wait outside.
Go on, Mum, I'll take care of this.
You and that great bunch of abbos.
We've got reason to be, Frank.
Yeah. Well, I've had about enough aggro on this job of yours. You can find yourself another builder.
At this stage, that'll mean more delays.
That's your headache.
Could be a big headache for you too, Frank.
What do you mean?
Breach of contract. Tony would be well